All right. Can we, is it working? Is it working? Hello? No? I bet it was like that. It's still not working. Still not working. Still not working. Oh, now it's working. It always takes time. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's wonderful to have you all here. I think there's a few people that didn't follow the instructions, so it will be coming late, but so be it. So thank you all for being here. I am obviously Sheila Heymans, and I am just going to go, oopsie, if I can, oops, no, I was, yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Are you moving it?
Are we being live streamed yet? Okay. I still,
Yeah.
There we go. Wonderful. So thank you everybody for being here. We're going to have quick welcome words, not more than this from me, just a few things on housekeeping rules. And then Jan Meers, the director of the lab that is hosting us, will give a few words, and then Willy will take over from there. So just quick housekeeping rules. No, I've gone too far. Don't interfere. So if there is a fire alarm, there's not meant to be a drill as far as I know today. So if the fire alarm goes off, follow somebody with a blue t-shirt. We'll probably go out the back door there or one of these doors. And if you're in the downstairs or upstairs, just take the stairs down and go out the main door. The toilets are just behind us. There's also some toilets upstairs where the poster boards are. And the posters are upstairs, obviously, and there will be some booths from ICs and those you will have seen in the coffee rooms. Coffee and lunches will all be downstairs, but there is also a coffee machine upstairs, so if you want to get coffee there and watch the posters, that's fine. Please make sure that your badges are visible at all times so we can speak to each other well, but also so that if there is an evacuation, know who you are. The Wi-Fi access code is on the wall there. So if you need it, if you're from Europe and you have EduRoam, it should work. Otherwise, there's a normal Wi-Fi. I don't think we have different colored lanyards, but we have different colored t-shirts. So anybody with a blue t-shirt like this, it should be able to help you with any questions. You will have noticed that you're not allowed to bring any coffee or something in here, no food and drinks. A bottle of water is fine, but that's about it. Yeah, and if you have any food allergy preferences and you haven't told us yet, please let us know. I think somebody asked about some allergies that they didn't tell us in advance, so we will have to sort that out later. But please let Angel, do you want to raise your hand? Know if you have any food allergies. We will take a group picture just before lunch. So just after the session, we'll send you all outside and we'll take a group picture there. And we will have pictures taken during the conference by random people. So if you don't want your picture on the internet, please let us know. This is also being live streamed, although the only thing that's being live streamed is this view. So you guys are safe on that side. If you're here, don't do anything funny. There are rooms available if you want to have meetings during the conference upstairs. So just ask us and we can organize that. And we have to leave at 7 o'clock because the building shuts. So we will be chasing you. I will be using my bell in the end. We know the beer is great. We know it's lovely to be here, but eventually you have to go and get some lunch, some dinner in town. And actually, I think the last ferry is like at 8:30. So you kind of have to leave if you want to catch that. And please clean up after yourself at lunches. Try and sort of keep it tidy. So that's it from me. There is also a survey that I'd ask you to fill in at some stage. We will put the QR code up again for the Ecoscope project, which is actually why we're hosting this due to the Ecoscope project. So please fill that in. And that is it from me. I will now hand it over to Jan Meers, who is going to give us some welcoming words. And actually, there's stairs over there if you want.
Yeah, maybe going down. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for the introduction. Very briefly, a very warm welcome from my side. I'm the director of the Flanders Marine Institute, trained as a marine biologist, never been a modeler, but our institute is heavily involved in ocean data. Welcome to this brand new building. We've only been here for 1 full year, actually. Before we were in an old place. We got to build this one new, so I invite you to have a look at it. The 6th floor has a beautiful view. There's a lot of art integrated in the building, so have a look around and enjoy the building, but also try to enjoy, I know you have a very busy week, but also try to enjoy the city of Ostend. It has a lot to offer. The sea, it's always great to be near the ocean. Just about our institute, very briefly, the Flanders Marine Institute is an institute that was established 25 years ago to federate the marine sciences in Flanders. It was a very fragmented landscape. In our latest inventory, we have 135 research groups that are spread over the different universities and scientific institutes in the country, very fragmented. And our main task is to reduce that fragmentation, to offer a common platform where marine research teams of different sizes, different disciplines can find a common goal. Besides that, we got a mandate to provide central services to the marine science community, amongst others, data management and management of marine research infrastructure, of course. From the data side, we have been quite successful in establishing some major data systems that you may know. We host the World Register of Marine Species here. We have the Marine Regions portal on geographical data. We also have the European node of the Ocean Biogeographic Information System. And besides that, we also have attracted some very interesting organizations to Ostend. The Marine Board, Sheila is heading that, but we also have the secretariat here of the European Marine Observation and Data Network, the European Ocean Data Portal, basically. The central portal is developed by our institute, is hosted here, so all the data are gathered here and then redistributed to the different user communities. And we also have a project office from the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO, the International Oceanographic Data and Information Exchange Program, one of the oldest programs of the IOC that deals with also federating ocean data on a global level. FLIS is also heavily involved in the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. We have been recognized recently as a grant-making facility. So we are the national coordinator for Belgium, but we also are a grant-making facility, which means that we can receive gifts and redistribute them to support the UN Decade. And one of the schemes we have developed is to support early career scientists to attend conferences like this one. We've always also supported 6 people to attend the UN Decade Conference in Barcelona earlier this year, and also very happy to announce that for this conference we have given 3 participation grants to 3 people from around the world, young people, and I will just shout out their names and they can maybe wave. So we have Eduardo Vontobel from Brazil over there. We have Lerusha Naidu from University of Cape Town in South Africa. And we have another Brazilian, Leticia Fernandes Alvarenga Monteiro from the University of Sao Paulo, over there. Welcome, all 3 of you, and I hope you will enjoy the conference and that this launches you in the wonderful community that is gathered here. So I think with this, I will end my introduction. Very welcome here in Ostend. I hope that you enjoy the environment, that it provides a creative environment for you, and that you will have a lot of work done. I'm sure of that. But besides the hard work, also try to enjoy the city, maybe even go to Bruges, the capital of the province of West Flanders, very nearby, quarter of an hour, and it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Welcome and enjoy the week.
Next, we have Willy. Oh, yes, we will record the session. Be aware. Okay, I'm saying to Willy.
Well, thank you, Sheila. And, oh. And thank you all for coming to Ecopath 40. And I especially thank Professor Jan Mies and the Flanders Institute for hosting us. And also Ecoscope and Professor Thanasis Sikleros, wherever you are, somewhere here, for the excellent support we've had for the conference. And of course to Professor Sheila Heymans and the European Marine Board staff, Angel not the least, for all the work you've done to get this organized. And it's been done in such a professional manner that it really is a pleasure to see it. We are here to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the publication of the first Ecopath model by Jeff Polovina. That activity was part of a follow-up to the pioneering International Biological Program. And this program was kind of typical in the sense that they collected a lot of data on energy flow, lots of data. But when you have all these data, what do you do with them? That's what they realized after they started. And the answer to that is pretty obvious to the people in this group here. You hire a modeler, because that's what we are good at, making sense of data. And that's what they did, and that led to Ecopath. And Ecopath is 40 years old now, and she has come a long way during those years. Indeed, it's very rare that a model is older than the most of the people that work with it. It kind of places EWE in the company of things like the von B growth equation, surplus production, logistic growth, Beaverton and Holt, and not many others. Ecopath started as a simple way to describe ecosystem. It was only when it was married with EcoSim that it really took off. That marriage has led to produce offspring such as EcoSpace and EcoTracer, and has led to wide adoption and as an accessible and versatile tool. But let me pause here for a second and mention that throughout this development of EWE, we have focused on capacity building. And today I'm very happy to announce the release of the first EWE textbook, which very fittingly is called Ecosystem Modeling with EWE. It's freely available online as an open source interactive textbook, and you can also get it through your favorite bookstore at a bargain price. So I encourage you to use this textbook for courses, and you can adopt and modify it as you see fit, thanks to it being open source. But we come further, and we've done that standing as we are on the shoulders of those giants that went before us. And we celebrate that in 2009 with Ecopath 25 at UBC in Vancouver, where I acknowledge the work of Chiara Piotti to make that conference a success. And I'm so sorry that Chiara can't be here for this workshop or this conference. At the time, we were taking the first baby steps towards ecosystem-based management, but actual implementation was very much wanting. Next, in 2014, it was the Ecopath 30 Modeling Dynamic Ecosystems Beyond Boundaries conference, which was hosted at CSIC, the Institute of Marine Research in Barcelona, where I thank Marta Koll, who's coming this afternoon, and Jeroen Steenbeck for pulling that one and seeing it through. There we saw how EWE had diversified and matured, and it was starting to knock on the door to serious applications. The team for Ecopath 35 was making ecosystem-based management operational, and it was hosted by Florida Fish and Wildlife Research Institute and University of South Florida. That was in St. Pete in Florida in 2019, just before the pandemic. Here I especially acknowledge Christy Lewis, Dave Chagaris, somewhere here, Kim Demutsert, and also Cam Ainsworth. That conference demonstrated how EWE was indeed contributing to making EBM operational. And now we are at Ecopath 40 with the team, the ecosystem continuing from knowledge to decisions. And it's hinting to the current status where EWE is a tool for EBM reaches far into management and policy. This is most notably as part of the European Commission's Horizon and Digital Twin Oceans activities, which I know many here are involved with, and also at ICES, and to some extent in the US through NOAA and Fisheries Management Councils. We'll hear more about that from Howard Townsend in a few minutes. And it will also be shining through really many of the presentations at this conference. But I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to say once again, welcome to all of you for coming. And then I would like to give this preprint, the very first copy, to Professor Van Rees and this. Thank you very much for hosting us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks, Jan. All right. So, did you have something else to say? All right. So, thank you for those opening words. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the next in the line of speeches, maybe if you can use the, don't go this way because then you're going to fall over things. Is Howard Townsend. He is obviously the from NOAA, as we mentioned. He's the acting division director. I didn't know. Well done, Howard. Does it mean you have to act? Do you have to act more? And yes, he's going to tell us about what they're doing in NOAA. So,
and there's a lot more caveats there. Not NOAA, but the NOAA fisheries, marine ecosystems. It's really all right. So thanks everybody. Before I get started, I really want to have a conversation. So I like to ask questions. How many people is this their first Ecopath conference? If you would show me your hands. Ooh, wow. Blowing me away. All right. Now I'm going to call out the more mature among us. Who was at the first Ecopath conference? Ooh. Oh, wow. But this is very encouraging, and it fits with the theme of my talk. So this is very exciting to see that. So I'm with NOAA Fisheries. I'm actually the ecosystem modeling coordinator. I'm just acting like something else right now. But so I've been doing this for a while, and it's just thinking about how we have really advanced things. And when I first got hired about 20 years ago, I had people questioning my bosses. Why are you hiring this guy? Why are you spending money on this? So we've come a long way. But the other thing I do is I'll go ahead and tell you what the talk's going to be about. So if you want to take a nap, you can rest. For the rest, I know a lot of people are jet lagged. And I actually just stole this slide from Jason Link, who gave a similar talk at Ecopath 35, modified it slightly. So they're continuing and growing instances of operational. And let me qualify. I'm talking about U.S. fisheries and NOAA, but and U.S. management and beyond just fisheries. But I am also including everybody else here. But I'll give more examples from the U.S. And there's some common elements of success for operational use of ecosystem models. But we do need this continuum that we keep on, this system, the software and data streams all the way out to getting the information out to the stakeholders and managers. And one of the other things I think we really need to focus on is standardized review processes. That's in fisheries management in the U.S., we have very thorough reviews for a stock assessment. It's like a PhD dissertation defense on steroids, they say. And we're starting to get these worked out, but it's a little more complicated for ecosystem modeling and Ecopath, for example. And all these examples will be Ecopath, but ecosystem modeling in general is good. But before I kind of get rolling here, just want to make sure we're all clear what we mean by applications and operational, because a lot of people maybe are mostly have been focused on, especially younger folks, just trying to get some research done, trying to get my dissertation or my master's project done. So let's just run through this real quick. So we want where we regularly and routinely using these models to provide information to do our, in the US, I'm calling it ecosystem due diligence. So even if you're making a single species decision or on a single sector, you've done your due diligence to think about the ecosystem and the impacts on the ecosystem or how the ecosystem might alter what your outcomes of your decision is. Using stuff that's been vetted, verified, that review process I was talking about before, methods, and incorporating where you're just into a routine of, I just had to incorporate the latest data updates because my model structure is good. And I'm just kind of feeding it new information every year or 3 years or whatever your management decision cycle is. But the key thing about being a management application is, oh, everybody wanted to see my talk. They're like, hey, we'll wait. Howard's not going to be for a while. We're going to show up when he gets here. Good. But also used to inform, support, or assist in some sort of decision making, right? So it's as applied. We're going to go out after we've looked at your model and kicked it around, and we're going to make a decision based off what you told us from your model. Typically, we think of that as tactical and immediate decision, but I think it's okay if it's more about providing some context and helping you to understand what's the space of trade-offs we might be working with and how we deal with that. All right, everybody clear on that? What we mean by, all right. Or at least that's what I mean. We can fight about it later. I'll leave a little time at the end of this so you can tell me where I'm wrong. So I want to go through a few examples, and I'm going to purposely showing a bunch of old slides that people have seen just to kind of say that, hey, we've been doing this a while. So in the California Current, they've got Ecopath model along with Atlantis and another mice model they've used to look at some of their forage fish issues, anchovy, sardines, and help them make some decisions about what they were allowing, where they are not allowed to fish certain forage fish that already, for example. In Hawaii, they've used this to look at how runoff from the land affects reefs and fisheries in the reefs, and thinking about how that increased nutrient input can influence how they do things. And I've forgotten the Hawaiian word, but there is a very Hawaiian word where long before that we had management, Native Hawaiians thought about the land and how it affected the water. And so I'm glad that has, we're now quantifying that. Atlantis, ACLIME, the Alaska Climate Project, uses Ecopath, Ecosim. Actually, RPath, it's the same algorithms, just programmed in R and C++. And I think Andy Whitehouse will have more to say about that later. Christy and Kim will appreciate some of the work that's going on in the southeast, coastal Louisiana. And I'm purposely using the old slide because I'm sure they've got some updates here on this sort of thing. But where we're using these models to help make decisions about where to rebuild the marshes around coastal Louisiana. Louisiana has been losing a lot of land to climate change subsided, and there's all kinds of plans in place to put in sediment diversions to help the water from the Mississippi River slow down and deposit sediment to rebuild the land. And that's going to have potential impacts on fisheries. And so we've done a bit of work there, and that work will continue. Another big one that I was involved with, Dave Chigueras will tell us more about this later, but where the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission, with our Atlantic Menhaden, where we're actually using Ecopath with Ecosim to adjust the stock assessment reference point to take into account, make it an ecological reference point, and make some adjustments to say, if you fish at Menhaden at a certain level, will it have an influence on its key predators, striped bass and other key predators? And Jake Bentley has been doing similar sort of work, the whole F-Eco idea. Okay, so I just want to kind of say Ecopath applications are growing and continuing to grow, and they should continue to grow. This is a big paper. If you haven't read this one, I encourage it. Jason Link was one of the main authors on this, and he's often one to write a title to say, here's what you ought to be doing, right? And so I think All of these papers I just listed actually sprung from Ecopath 35. I got to keep all those numbers straight. When you get my age, it's hard to keep all those numbers straight. The last Ecopath, I can't. All right, so hopefully we will come up with a similar sort of special issue and a lot of good papers to help advance the science from this meeting. Do I see some nodding heads? Yes, let's do this. Okay, Jake is going to take care of it. All right. All right. So we're making progress and our efforts are growing. So I showed a bunch of old slides of stuff that we have been doing in the US, and a lot of that has continued, not all of it, but it's continuing. But we are also doing some new stuff. We have a grad student, Max Greslick, who is taking these portfolio approaches. Are folks familiar with the portfolio approaches? Okay, we'll talk about that later. But the idea of using some of the same sort of modeling techniques they use in finance, to select your stock portfolios, using applying those to fisheries portfolios, and then developing this sort of idea of a risk gap. In other words, if you, I can't make this pointer, I'm gonna wave my hand. Okay, there's a risk gap. So this is sort of what they would do in in actual stock markets, to take up the variability in all the different portfolios of the stock. You could do the same thing with a fish and figure out, are we taking on more risk than we need? So this would be the actual fishing level. This would be the theoretical levels. So using that to develop sort of a control rule where you're optimizing your portfolio of fish and the economics. And he's going to use Ecopath with this to see if we can turn that into a control rule, another way of thinking about how to manage fish, where we kind of incorporate multi-species interactions and the economics of it all. We've also got Holden Harris here. He'll be talking more about it, but really making some big advancements with the U.S. Gulf-wide ecosystem model and bringing in some, I think I pulled in the wrong slide here, but bringing in some climate and ocean model information into a spatial EWE model to help make some decisions about food webs and fisheries. And so you'll hear more about that. Georgia's bank model, we have Sarah Weisberg, who's looking at the, Sarah's around here somewhere, I saw her, okay, yeah. Who's looking at sort of the resiliency and sort of the ecological, really looking at ecosystem level ways of thinking about Georgia's banks. And can I say this out loud, that she'll be working with NOAA soon? I guess I'm going to say it out loud. Or there's a good chance you will be. All right, sorry. And then finally, a project I've been involved with is within NOAA. We want to start figuring out how can we start to do management and this whole decision-making process differently. And so this was a project actually started by the folks in our stock assessment division. I'm in our ecosystem. This was the stock assessment division folks came to me and said, can we talk about how do we start incorporating ecosystems and economics into our projections and kind of do a dry run walkthrough of what that would look like if you would go out and do this, and we'll write a paper on it and practice that out a bit. And so what we've done there is taken actually Dave's EWE model and sort of rearranged it a bit, just made it more generic, and have it interacting with a single species models. We have a simple data limited model. We have sort of a medium complexity stock assessment model, and then a more complicated age structured stock assessment model. And then we've taken that EWE model and let some economics drive it, let some climate signals drive it, and see how different stock assessment models, how well they do fitting the data when you take into count other factors driving the ecosystem. But that's all the technical side, but really the idea is how do we start putting together the teams you need to do fisheries management in a way that's more holistic and more ecosystem based. And so I'm very excited that this is hopefully will be published. It's been going on. We got started just before the pandemic and things sort of took a little while, but hopefully this will be out and published soon. We're talking about it now, but that's really, I'm excited that we really want to expand the traditional approach to fisheries management. And it's coming from not the ecosystem people knocking on the door of the stock assessment people saying, hey, use this. It's the other way. The stock assessment people knocked on our door and said, hey, let's start talking about how we do this. So that's all very exciting. But I'm still, how can we make progress faster, right? What can we do? Let's think about that a bit. And I'm stealing a slide that Dave Shigaris showed at the last EWE, this whole idea of the new innovation and sort of how we went with the ecosystem model. So 25 years ago, we're like, yeah, let's everybody build an ecosystem model. We're going to save the world. Everything's going to do everything, right? We get it all figured out. Like, oh, wait, this is hard. There's a lot that people don't quite get what we're doing. And so there was a little slowdown progress. And now I think the last time you said they would say we're up down here, I think we're up a little bit. And I think it's soon going to be to this plateau of productivity. But we have to keep in mind, that's a slope. It's a slippery slope too. And so we got to make sure we don't slide back down that slope. So what are some things we've learned, or some general things we've learned from this? I'd say first off, you got to right size your model. So kind of going a deep dive on the history of the Menhaden stuff. We first, with our Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission, started talking about using Ecopath. Actually, back in 2001 or two, I think Billy was presenting to them, and that's sort of how I got started. So they weren't interested, but my Chesapeake Bay office that I worked for at the time was interested. So we built a Chesapeake Bay model and took that to the Atlantic States Commission. It's like, oh, that looks kind of neat, but you're just looking at the Chesapeake Bay, and we have the whole U.S. East Coast. So sorry. And then sort of Buchheister, what's his first name? Andre Buchheister, sorry. Built a really big whole Atlantic coast, the Northwest Atlantic Coast Shelf model, and had, what was it, 60 some species, and say, okay, that's cool, but there's a lot to it. And then finally, so first sort of the Goldilocks effect, right? It was too small, the geographical coverage was just too small. This was too big. The species coverage was too big. It was too hard to, if you got to update this model every 3 to 5 years, 61 species is a lot, and also a lot for people. And so Dave came along and got it just right. Just Goldilocks was happy with this. It got the right size. So I think that's something to keep in mind for everybody when you're thinking about these model applications. Right size it. The other big thing is the modeling and the management objectives. We've talked about this for years and years. Oh yeah, here's the objectives that the managers want, but they would often be vague and loose or not modelable. I think I invented that word, so you can use that. Just give me 10% of whatever you make off of it. So that's one of the things we did with the Atlantic Menhaden example is we said, no, we're going to have an actual modeling objectives workshops with the managers and stakeholders and say, what do you want to do? We want to sustain Menhaden, you want to provide for predators, et cetera. And we said, okay, here are the things with our different types of models where we can actually put that into a quantitative, take the words you're saying for your objective and put it into a quantitative model and making that meetable. And then also, this is another one from a special issue that followed up from our last Ecopath. This is the California Current, where they had workshops and they list all the different models that they're working on the West Coast of the US and working with the councils, the scientific and statistical committees, said, here's the models we have. What are the questions you want? Going back and forth, trying to figure out, everything that we need. So I think that these are two of the key things we have to do. This is to make these where we can apply them, right? But how do we make those operational, right? You do it one time and it takes a lot of energy and time, and I say, all right, I'm going to go home now. I say, oh, no, you got to come back next year or 2 years from now and do it again. So that's where my head's at now a lot with NOAA Fisheries. And so I've written a lot of words here and, the strategy, but the basic idea is we need to promote knowledge sharing among ourselves, but also with our stakeholders, with managers, everybody involved. We need to streamline that continuum that from the model development, making the data operational, the reviews, all that sort of stuff. And we also need to make sure we can meet our future capacity needs, because we're starting to see people are wanting this information and asking for it. And that's exciting, but that means we have to be ready, because the more questions you get, it's going to take more time. So how are we doing? And I'm saying this about the US, but a little bit about everybody, and we can debate this. I'll I think I'll still have a minute or two we can talk. I would say promoting knowledge sharing. We're all here, we're talking to each other. At least that's good. I hope you're also going out and working with your stakeholders and managers. So it's not just us talking to ourselves, but I'll give us a green check mark. And sorry, I realized for colorblind people, I'll say the words here. I didn't think about this until too late. Ensuring the future capacity needs are met. So I would say was over probably 2/3 of the group here are all new Ecopath to Eco. So good. I think we're getting in a good state to make sure we have those future capacity needs. What about this whole continuum idea and streamlining the model development, the operational implementation, the data streams you need, management review, all that sort of stuff. Where do we go? There's like model development. I think we're getting quicker on this. So I give it kind of a yellow-green check mark. Operational implementation, knock that down to just yellow. It's like no red lights here, by the way. So that's I had to come up with new shades. Like I don't think anything's stopping us at this stage. Operational, I think we still have a good bit to do. Management review, we got to figure out how to make this go quicker. Our experience with Atlantic Menhaden was the reviewers like we could have used more time on this, and some other reviews I've been involved with like we could have used more time on this, and so how to make that work a little faster. Timely and efficient data streams. All right, we're I think in some places we're getting that worked out, and using established software. I would give us a green check because we're all using EWE, and I think that's a really smart start. Not to limit other model use, but let's use stuff that people have worked with and shown that we can, make it work. I also want to do, we are making some progress within NOAA. We have our Climate Ecosystems and Fisheries Initiative, CEFI. We had got a big bunch of money through the Inflation Reduction Act a few years ago. So we're implementing this idea where we have regional ocean modeling feeding into an information hub, and then working with ecosystem modelers, stock assessment modelers, species distribution modelers to help develop these decision support tools, and then working with decision makers on that. So I think we're doing a good job in the US. And okay, I've made this very US centric, so I got to stop. And also give a lot of credit to Ecoscope. You see those four things, they look very similar to the CEFI. I think we're both moving in the right direction, developing that continuum to make sure we can keep this stuff operational. We've had big surges of money to help support all this, which is great. And I hope when those big surges go away, we have everything in place that we can keep this operational. So with that, I think that's my last slide. Oh no. Yeah, sorry. So let's get to work and let's turn all these check marks green. Cool. Thanks a lot. And I will there's a minute or two for questions or comments, or we're good.
I think, are you guys gonna upload the posters now? Yes, we'll have questions while they upload.
Okay.
The presentation.
Okay, excellent. Comments, tell me where I'm wrong. Oh. All right, Jacob.
You can take.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Should be.
Thanks, Howard. That was really cool. We're finding a lot of this side as well. So there's so many parallels between what you're doing and what we're finding in the EU Northeast Atlantic. We're having a lot of trouble. So we're in the same stage. We've got models that we can develop relatively quickly now. We've got operational routes for them, but we really find it difficult with the political impetus. So the questions and requests from decision makers aren't coming necessarily because there's short-sightedness perhaps or obligations to a single stock approach. And I was wondering, is it similar in the US? Because it seems like you might be a little bit further ahead. And if you are, how did you get there?
it's similar, right? And I think that's one of the tricks. All of our mandates, all of our acts and stuff that regulate, none of them say you have to do ecosystem-based management. Now we had people who've written papers say, yeah, but look at all we have to do. It's smart to do ecosystem-based fisheries management, ecosystem-based management, so we can answer a lot of these questions with one model instead of having to build 50 different models for each question and going through the process. So I think in some places we're starting to catch on with that, or some of them, like with the Menhaden example, since the first fisheries management plan, which is even older than EWE for that, they kept saying, yeah, this is important to think about predators. And so 40 years later, we finally got around to, all right, we talked about this for a long time and now we finally got it. But yeah, there was a lot of political pushback and I don't know the answer to all that. Maybe we need some legislation that says you have to do it this way because it's more efficient. But we have to also show that. And I know a lot of us have been working on making that business case. I think we have to keep, that's a strong area for research. Let's show how this is more efficient, I guess. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Because I actually think that in the EU, ecosystem-based management is actually sort of implicit in the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. So, but even though there's still not no take up because I think there's some understanding at the policy level and there's lots of understanding at our level, but there's a bit in the middle. And how do we get to the bit in the middle?
Yeah, yeah. And I think part of it too is just some of it is just going to be folks aging out. That's what I've experienced, right? People who learned in the old ways, the people who said, why are you working here? Why they've all retired now. So my job's a little more secure. But I say that partially joking, but I've also noticed, like I was at the World Fisheries Congress and some other, national, and I've noticed like it used to be, there was the one room where maybe half a day there were some ecosystem talks. And this time at World Fisheries Congress, it was, I couldn't go to all the talks. I felt happy and sad, right? Because I couldn't make it all to the talks. And so I missed them, but it's like, wow, this is cool. So I'm excited. I think there's a lot of push and just seeing the numbers when the hands were raised, I think we're in a good position if we, don't retire before then. But yeah, thanks. All right, appreciate that.
Maybe one last question. Do we have the posters ready? One last question, then we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Howard. Holden Harris. I had a thought on your lessons slide. Partly as I'm thinking here, it's like I'm here at the conference. I'm interested in recruiting for new positions. I met someone in the first couple of minutes who's also interested in recruiting to new positions. It seems like we have these big initiatives to push ecosystem-based fisheries management. Is there any indications that those needs are outgrowing this community's capacity to fulfill them with new early career scientists? And what are your thoughts maybe? If that's the case, what should we do?
Yeah, we can both answer this. Yes, and I'm also encouraged when I saw the hands raised. So yeah, there's going to be, I think, some mismatch in timing and that sort of stuff that we're going to have to sort through, and you might have to hold on to some money for a postdoc, longer than you had planned. But I think in the long run, we're going to get there. But just seeing the number of hands, I feel like the capacity is getting there. If you have some ideas about specifically what we should do to make sure there's a steady stream of capacity, I'd love to talk with you more about that. But I think this is exciting that we're talking about this, not why are you doing this, but how are we going to keep doing this? So that's very good questions. All right.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. So I think those discussions we should definitely keep for Wednesday afternoon. I think Willie will be launching a meeting a bit at the end on, what's next. And I think we really need to, that's one of the discussions we should really have there. I think now we're going on to the booth pitch presentations, and I'm not sure how many people from the booths are here. It's not very clear to me. I know we have one, so maybe we'll make up some time. Is there another booth presentation at the back? Perfect. 3. Excellent. 4. Goodness, we are not going to make up some time. Okay. Does anybody have slides? Which one? Don't touch. Okay. I'll start with Jacob because he's in front, and then, oh no, Jacob has to put his jacket on. So go.
Hi, everyone. Really nice to be here. So I've got a booth set up in the other room on ICES. So you heard a bit about ICES in a couple of talks this morning. So it's the International Council for the Exploration of the Seas. It's a great scientific community that provides science advice and just scientific research to inform kind of North East Atlantic marine policy and management, but also looking into the wider seas. And it's a great community to get involved with, especially at the moment. We seem to be getting a lot of requests for new ecosystem information and advice, and it's a real nice route for us to operationalize the models that we're working with. We're using them to inform catch information, but also ecosystem overviews, so decision makers know more about how their activities are impacting the wider ecosystems. But we have capacity issues as well. So it'd be great if people hear all those hands that went up would like to get involved in ICES. It's a voluntary process. It's really great for getting our models used, and it's a nice community to review and build models as well. So come and talk to me if you want to know more about how we've been using EWE at ICES or just ICES more generally. So thank you.
Thanks, Jacob. Next, we'll have EMODNet. Our first non-modeler in the room. Be nice to her.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angelica Nampuruni. I do have slides as well. I'll make them available for after. I'm going to keep this very short. I represent the European Marine Observation and Data Network, EMODNet. We are the European Commission in situ marine data service. Our data spans across 7 thematics from biology, bathymetry, chemistry, human activities, geology, and we also, and a couple of more, and we also have a data ingestion service that ensures that all of our data is standardized and harmonized. It is approximately a year and a half ago that we centralized all of our services. We went from 8 websites into one website. You can now access all of our data products and download them from our map viewer. I'm sorry, I've been coughing all morning. It's okay. And yes. Thank you. Okay, and around that same time, we also joined the forces with the Copernicus Marine Service, which is the satellite system of the marine data satellite system of Europe. We are working together to create the backbone infrastructure of the European Digital Twin Ocean. It is a project called EDITO. There are 2 components to it: EDITO Infra, which is the one we're working with, creating the data lake. We're combining in situ data and the satellite data. And we also have EDITO Model Lab, which is the modeling aspect. That is probably the one that is going to interest you more. Many of you, I believe, are already registered. We have an event. We have a 3-hour workshop on Thursday morning. You're going to hear a lot more about our service, about the Copernicus Marine Service, and also a lot more about the modeling capabilities that we are creating through EDITO. It is going to be, for the first time, presented to you in beta phase and users outside of the EMODNet community. And this is ahead of the Digital Ocean Forum that is happening on the 13th of June, where we're going to present the platform for the first time in a high-level event to the European Commission and all of its components. And you're going to be welcome to watch this. It's going to be live streamed. And we do hope that we will see you there. The project is going to be fully launched in September. And we're going to keep you updated about this through all of our social media channels on Twitter and LinkedIn. And you're welcome to follow us. Thank you very much. Thank you for the water.
All right. We're standing, so do you want to? Yeah, come. I don't know the names, I'm afraid. So introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, I have some slides.
Okay. Hold on. It's
Yeah.
Don't touch them. Yeah, hold on. No, maybe it doesn't work. Oh, you're a.
Yeah, actually. Okay, we should be because. I don't
Yeah,
see-
I can scroll.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yep. Good morning. So my name is Peter Provost, and I'm representing OBIS, the Ocean Biodiversity Information System. So we're a global network of data centers and data providers trying to make more marine biological data openly available using standardized formats. So this is our steering group, which meets once every year. This was in March at MABIC in Korea at our new Korean OBIS node who just joined the network last year. So some of you may know OBIS as a database of species distributions, but we're trying to be much more than that and really try to support end-to-end open science. So from data mobilization all the way to data applications. So to demonstrate this philosophy and these capabilities, we also have some field projects. So for example, we have an invasive species monitoring project in Fiji. We also do citizen science, eDNA, biodiversity monitoring in UNESCO sites. And I think we can also be an interesting partner for the ecological modeling community. So just as an example, DFO in Canada is doing regular stock assessments of shrimp and fish. And DFO is our Canadian OBIS node and also a data provider. So all these data are available through the OBIS platform. So using our R package with just a few lines of code, you can get access to all these data, put them on a map, and also get all the abundance and biomass information for different species. So if you didn't know about OBIS, come see us at the booth. We'll have 4 people around this week. So our Rappeltans, our program manager, then Silas, who is in the room, who's our distribution modeler, Sarah, who's our eDNA specialist, and then myself as a data manager. Thank you.
All right, and next, yeah, I don't know who else we have. Bruce, I think you're the last one. Oh, actually, there's steps over there, but. There we go.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Carlota Mieles from the Flanders Marine Institute, and I'm here to represent the DTO Bioflow project. And my job was much easier now because now you know everything about the EDITO project and the ambitions of the European Commission about building this digital twin of the ocean. So I'm just going to go for DTO Bioflow. This is a project that aims to integrate biodiversity data into this European digital twin of the ocean. And what we aim to do within the project is to unlock sleeping data and build sustained data flows for these and for new biodiversity data types for the data to flow into the EU DTO. And the way that we will do this, or maybe first, what I mean by sleeping biodiversity data is data that it exists, but it doesn't find its way yet into open repositories because of different reasons. And sometimes it's just because the systems are not yet in place, so there's some technical limitations there, which is where the project comes in to build these data flows and to make the data go into data aggregators like eModNet and Eurobis. So we will work with some monitoring networks that are producing new data types like genomic observations, plankton imaging data, biologging data, passive acoustics, and also other types of data such as citizen science and report data, etc., to make this data flow into these aggregators. So it's available to the DTO environment via these data flows that we are producing. We will also create some science-based data compilations and product that are fit and ready for use in your applications. And all of this is to be demonstrated with some policy-relevant use cases to create these digital systems that are a replica of marine biological processes. And we will also work to make all of these scalable, interoperable, and compatible with other digital twin infrastructure that is currently being developed. So everything is integrated in a sustainable manner. So if you want to know more, please pass by our booth of DTO. And of course, it's a very big project. So thank you to all the partners that will be contributing there. And if you have questions, we are in the other room also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we have two other booths, maybe one other booth,
One.
maybe. Copernicus, and I'm not sure if they will arrive, but there is another space for them. But they will be here during the week and at the workshop, I think, on Thursday. So you can speak to them then. So next we have the poster pitch presentations, and if your name is on the agenda for today, then if we can get you to stand in a straight stripe over there in the order of your names. So the first one is Larissa. You can probably come up already. Larissa, then the agenda is online, so you should be able to get it on the website. We're going to try and stick to time because I'm really desperate for another coffee. So you're going to have, there's somebody sitting over there with a time, and the time is going to run down. So
not at all
unfortunately, you're the first one.
Sure.
Just give me one.
No problem.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, while they're reorganizing themselves there, I was just going to say. I was just going to say that.
Give us 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where is it?
That the reason why I ordered, if Billy would shut up. Why I asked the people in the booth to present is because I believe there's quite a lot of data that you guys can really use and you don't know about it. And Emonet and all of these projects have huge amounts of data, so I think it's really useful. So I thought it would be helpful to have them there. So are we ready?
Not
We're
yet.
not ready yet.
No.
I'll-
That's why we asked
Yeah.
for presentations before.
Yeah, so we're going to have 1 minute presentations. It's going to be a countdown for the people presenting, and I think they're all moving in order, which is great. So I think your 1 minute starts now, Larissa.
Okay, so globally, the small scale fishery sector is data limited, and this is no exception in South Africa. In South Africa, the small scale fishery sector is located on the west and south coast over there, which is actually classified as a Southern Benguela upwelling system, which is highly productive and plays a vital role in fishing. Despite the Southern Benguela offering over 11,000 people with a fishery-based livelihood, the sector doesn't have much data. And to address this, we are constructing catch and effort reconstructions, and we're using semi-structured expert interviews to validate assumptions that we make where data is lacking. And these catch and effort reconstructions will then be put into an existing Ecopath and Ecosim model, and then thereafter we're going to be testing contextualized scenarios for the small scale fishery, which will help with an integrative ocean management for the Southern African marine system. Thank you.
In my list, we have Yochin Kao. Yeah. I'm going to stand behind you just because.
Right, can I start?
Yes.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Yuchen Kao from United States Fish and Wildlife Service. I'm a supervisory fish biologist there, leading the effort of modeling invasive carps in the upper Mississippi River. This is one of our projects, modeling the invasive carps in the Illinois River, and so that to understand the potential of their invasion into the Great Lakes through the Chicago waterway systems into Lake Michigan. So this will be a poster about this project, and I will also talk about how I communicated the result to the managers, and I welcome everyone. And I'm going to make a recommendation whether to use this modeling approach in my region. So I want to everyone with similar experience come to my booth, and we share our experience about how to build the capacity of modelers in our agency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Sumire Kinoshita. Yeah. Sorry if I get the names wrong. I'm known for being bad with names.
Good morning. I'm Sumire Kinoshita from Japan. I tried to diagnose the health of the Western North Pacific in 2013 using ecological indicators. According to me and the variance of trophic levels of catch, the catch in the Western North Pacific was concentrated on small parasites. In this area, small parasites are abundant, and which is a characteristic of this ecosystem. And fisheries are conducted to take advantage of that. Therefore, it will be necessary to manage fisheries in each target area, taking account for the characteristic of the ecosystem. Please visit my post and provide me your thoughtful comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's right. The next we have Megan Seaman.
Hi, I'm Megan Seaman. I'm from the University of Florida. My poster is really more a methods kind of poster. So we've been working on trying to incorporate stable isotopes more on both the front end, improving inputs. But what I'm focusing on here is actually taking the outputs of Ecopath and EcoSim simulations to try and then get simulated stable isotope signatures over time that we could potentially use to validate models or to monitor systems. It's coming along, right? So I'm really open to hearing any suggestions and also to talk about potential applications and how we would go about scaling this up. So please come by and talk to me.
Thanks, Megan. Next, we have Marcella. You don't look like a Marcella.
It's my slide.
Oh, okay. No, Marcella is here, but maybe you don't have a slide. Oh, well, you come first, Dries, and then we see.
Dries.
Dries, yeah, Dries
Yes.
Larre, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we don't have your slide.
Yes. Okay. So the southern part of the North Sea is quite well known in Europe for its high fishery production and important for our food security. So besides that importance for food security, it's also increasingly used for offshore wind development, which is of course important for reaching the renewable energy targets. But currently we have about 3% of the area already covered by offshore wind farms, but in a matter of just a few decades, this will be 20%. And the thing is, we don't really know what this large-scale occupation of wind farms will do to the food web and to our food security, the fishery production. So if you want to have an interesting discussion about the trade-offs offshore wind farms will bring to our food security, then I'm happy to talk to you at my poster. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcella's poster somehow got lost, but she says she'll speak anyway. It's a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Marcella. I work at Guiomar with Marcus Cotti, and we are working in the Western Baltic Sea to evaluate the multiple stressors over the ecosystem of the Western Baltic. So we are working with mixed scenarios. We are working with a already published Ecopath with ecosystem model with 18 functional groups, and we now are working with a spatial model. And we are working with this spatial framework, time spatial framework. And we are evaluating mixed scenarios with fishing and global changes. And we saw some patterns that we can discuss further if you want to see something with my poster. Yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful. Next, we have, I'm assuming Selma Samal is not here, but next will be Daniel. Yeah, you're Daniel. Okay.
Yes. Hi to everyone. I'm Daniele Bellardini, a PhD student at Stazione Zoologica Anton Dohrn of Naples and Genoa University. Here, my preliminary results of my work, and we have sample in the Campania region along from north to south in southern Italy. And the aim of this work to investigate the complexity of this coastal system because it's influenced but not only of the Tyrrhenian Sea, oligotrophic water by Tyrrhenian Sea, but also in terrestrial input by river input. And to do this, we have through ecological modeling, we have analyzed this system. In particular, we investigate the planktonic trophic networks. And we calculate several ecological indicators to evaluate the structure of this system. And in particular, we have we can see here the clear difference between the gulfs. In particular, the Gulf of Gaeta is very different with respect to the another gulfs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next on the list, we have Alessandro Guida, sorry.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Alessandro and I come from Genoa. I'm a PhD student, and the aim of our research is to characterize the temporal evolution of the functionality and the structure of the zooplankton community over the austral summer in the area of Terranova Bay in Antarctica. And we have data from 12 different years, from 2000 to 2023. But how did we study seasonal dynamics with data from different years? We have developed a method based on ice concentration from data from satellite that give us a good feedback. Like you can see in the gamma significance matrix, the first two columns are how our method results. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I think I see Xavi is here, so I'm assuming that Elena and Ismet's definitely not here, but Elena, I don't know, Marta was going to present a poster, but maybe that can do tomorrow. Xavi, you are next. Xavier Corrales? Is that it? No. No? Maybe it's too big. Is this not your poster?
No. This is Elena's one, eh?
Oh, so we have a poster, but we don't have anybody to present it. Okay. Hold on. The best laid plans. Yeah, format issues. That's not yours?
The next one.
The next one. Oops.
This one.
Yeah. Bit small.
Yes.
Luckily, we have a few people not here. All right.
Okay, so I am Xavier Corrales from ASTI, and in here we have used an ecospace model for the Bay of Biscay to assess the potential consequence of climate change and management interventions. Management interventions include restoration and conservation, and also we include the nature inclusive harvesting. So we translate the broad narrative of the Future Mares project, global sustainability, national enterprise, and world markets to local concerns, following a standard modeling approach that Marta will explain more in an oral presentation, and following RCP and SSP scenarios. And our results shows that under the global sustainability scenario, we have positive effects on key commercial species and ecological indicators, suggesting that management interventions can play a vital role in mitigating climate change impact. On the other hand, under the national enterprise and world markets, we have negative impacts on many.
Move along. Roger. Sorry. Roger Amate. I can't give you extra time, Xavi. I didn't give it to the others.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Roger Amate, and I will present a poster about a model, an Ecopath model that we have built for the tropical Indian Ocean pelagic ecosystem. And we are focusing on the main three tropical tuna species, which are big eye, yellowfin, and skipjack, for which we have set a multi-stanza parameter. And we are also trying to characterize the effect of fat fishing on these species and the ecosystem. We are building this model to try to engage tuna RFMOs to include an ecosystemic dimension when managing these species and also managing the ecosystem. And if later you swing by the poster, it will be a pleasure to chat, exchange ideas, and explain my research in further detail. And to find the poster in the conference, just do like the fisherman on the top right and look for the tunas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Yosu. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Yosu. I am a PhD student currently developing an Ecopath model for the tropical Atlantic Ocean. The objectives of this project are quite similar to those just presented by my colleague. We want to improve our understanding of the structure and functioning of the tropical pelagic ecosystems and assess the cumulative impacts of fishing and climate change in this region. So I am just starting the Ecopath model. So you won't find any results in the poster, but if you are interested in the topic, I want to invite you to pass by and talk to me with me. I will explain you all the background around the fisheries strategy in tropical tuna in the Atlantic, the challenges I am finding as a beginner in ecosystem modeling, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. And now I'm not sure. Are you Karima? Is that your name? I'm there we go.
Yeah.
Yes, we might have to make it a bit smaller. Sorry. It's different sizes of posters. There we go. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 minute start.
Yes, you will see it there. Okay. But yeah, you have to stand here so people can hear you online.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shaima from the University of Kiel and the Alfred Wegener Institute of Marine and Polar Research. Our study area is the South Reef, which is a marine protected area in the eastern German Bight of the southern North Sea. And we tend to investigate the effect of the exclusion of bottom trawling that has encountered since 2023. And it's a marine protected area that's high. It has a high diversity of sediments habitat structure, and we tend to investigate and conduct a study to study the before and after the control impact assessments, and that its impact on the fish biomass and the ecosystem stability, and to assess these management scenarios and regulations that has been encountered in our marine protected area using Ecopath, Ecosim, and Ecospace. Yeah, if we have luck. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have Noah Mott.
Good morning. I'm Noah Motz, PhD student from University of Delaware. We all know that functional groups and diet matrices are essential for ecosystem models, but they're often based on other studies from other areas, which may not be applicable to the model ecosystem. So we created two different models of an oyster aquaculture reef in Delaware Bay. One stable isotope informed, which used stable isotope analysis to form functional groups and estimate the diet matrices, and one more traditional approach that utilized the functional groups and diet matrices from a nearby study. We found that there were two main differences. One, there was an additional functional group of mud snails, which was isotopically distinct from the other benthic vertebrates it would otherwise be grouped with. And different diet matrices for benthic fishes resulted in approximately half a trophic level difference between models. So we believe that this case study highlights some of the potential advantages of utilizing stable isotopes in ecosystem models, including in situ diet estimation, functional group formation from isotopic and inferred ecological similarity, and producing a complementary output to traditional Ecopath to identify research gaps.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Excellent timing. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. And we are a little bit over time. We're supposed to have a coffee break till 11. And is that right? Oh, we're not over time. We're under time. How did that happen? Wonderful. More time for coffee. Yes. A reminder that you can vote for the pitch presentations and for the talks. So student talks and student presentations by scanning the QR code. There are also QR codes next to the posters of the students. So if there's no QR code, you can't vote for them. And also for the talks, we will let you know when there are student talks as well. And yeah, so other than that, let's have a coffee break. We should be back at 11. You will hear me walk around with a bell at about 5 to 11 to get you all back in here so that we can start on time. So let's try and not work. You know, we have to be out of the building by 7. So if the longer we wait, the less drinking time we have tonight. I'm just putting it out there.